should do the Braille thing. Somebody's missing. Yes. Huh? State trooper. Yeah.
What's it supposed to be?
Yeah, I got a pen, it's fine. And the hoodie pockets don't exist anymore.
I know.
Yeah, they came back. They came back.
How about that?
There you go.
How you doing?
Quick question.
Yep.
Sergeant, what is the date? Who's supposed to have a date?
Yes.
Just wonder what date and time it was.
You can have a seat.
We can answer that after this meeting, because it might not be happening. Perfect. So that will be something that will be decided early on in the meeting.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
If not, what month of, June 9th?
June 9th.
Yeah, if not, yeah.
All right.
Oh, we're live. Can we watch it or in front? See it Let's just see how easy it is. Pretty easy. Oh, it's delayed really bad. We'll see how it goes, but I'm not a fan of the sound quality yet. We'll see.
What?
Hard to hear, but we haven't got started yet.
I mean,
We're
I can
talking
turn it
about
up too.
Is it like watching the?
We'll work on it. You can do it.
It's fine.
Well, I don't want it to be like,
It sounds good. Okay.
I turn it up from the,
She can adjust all the levels.
I think.
She's our sound man.
They can turn it down.
These are mics, aren't they?
Yeah.
She can adjust.
Yeah, but they can like contradict each other.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can set, each one is different. In her defense, the guy that installed it was lightning fast, it was hard to keep track of everything he said.
Well, actually,
They were in that period.
yeah, we want.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean. Let me Yeah.
Did you both get a solar ordinance? Did you get a solar ordinance?
Sold it.
Yeah, I got it.
Did you?
I put it in my folder, don't you remember?
Yeah, and then I took it out
In your.
to reorganize it. I I just didn't know if I didn't give one of them and gave it to you, but I
Yep, I got it.
printed it with Reese.
I settled down, I'm good standing.
Spin around there.
His back support, whatever that's called. I don't use them.
Making the officer stand.
That means
Where?
don't act up, Bob.
We're trying to get in. Okay. We'll bring the meeting.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have the minutes from last month. Everybody look at them? Think you're-
No, I didn't have any issues.
So I guess we need a motion to approve the minutes from them.
Motion to approve the minutes. I'll second it.
All those in favor, consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. So, the next public comment, I guess I need, at this point, I need to make a motion that we're going to amend the agenda for the next meeting, which is on Tuesday. Okay. And at that, I guess I want her to comment on this now?
Right, we need a motion to amend the agenda, then we can do that afterwards.
Okay, do I have
I'll make the motion to amend the agenda.
do I have a second? I'll second. All those in favor, consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then I guess we need your input from why.
Sure, so my name is Jessica Fieldhouse, and I work for C.S. Davidson, the township's engineer of record. And I just want to be clear here, you made a motion just now to amend tonight's agenda.
Yes.
So that we can
So
have
that we
this
could discuss
discussion.
this,
Yes.
And so the discussion that we're having, and I'll fill
I'm sorry
everybody in.
about that.
No, that's okay. No, so just a little bit of background here. I work for the municipal engineer, the township's engineer. We had a conversation today with the township solicitor, Andy Harold. And essentially what's going on is that the township's third-party consultants, the solicitor and the engineer, are of the opinion that we are not at a point, the municipality or any of the third parties, we are not at a point to have a public hearing on Tuesday evening to discuss any type of ordinance. And one of the reasons we're saying that, one of the reasons is, as you all are aware, data centers have been in the news, and these meetings are generating a lot of feedback to the tune of 400 people in Columbia Borough and other places. So these are very delicate, these need to be very transparent conversations. This is a community conversation. We need to have more meetings with the public before we can even get to the point of having a public meeting for an ordinance. And one of the reasons that I say that is that as a planner, I'm really familiar with the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. And yes, in order to adopt an ordinance, before you adopt that ordinance, you need to have a public hearing. But typically, that public hearing is conducted 6, 8, 12 months after we started work on crafting an ordinance. And the reason I say that is in that time, we've had public meetings, we've met with the Planning Commission, the York County Planning Commission has reviewed and commented on the draft ordinance, and to my knowledge, none of those things have been done.
Some,
They have,
some have.
Not enough, as far as your third parties are concerned,
And-
the background work has not been done to a sufficient degree with which for us to make a recommendation that this should even be up for a public hearing. We are very concerned about the damage that can be done if we put this to a public hearing before it is time. Secondarily to that, a hearing on Tuesday will cost an awful lot of taxpayer dollars, and we already know that the draft ordinance in its current form is unlikely to be adopted following this public hearing. So what the solicitor and the township engineer's offices have recommended is to table this ordinance conversation and slow down and reverse a little bit so that we can hold a public forum, that we can answer questions, we can be transparent, we can make sure that everybody is jumping off at the same point. Because there are some facts that we want to make sure that we get out to the public. There's a lot of information everywhere. I mean, my 22-year-old daughter has a list of data center facts that she's pulling from all sorts of sources, and some of them are correct and some of them are not. And what we need to do is we need to start, all of us need to be on the same playing field, and that is not currently where we're at. And our recommendations is to slow down. To our knowledge, there are no formal requests for a data center to be submitted to the township. There's also no infrastructure here in the township to support the development of a data center. So from that perspective, the township engineer's office and the township solicitor's office feel comfortable that we can delay this process. Essentially, there is no reason for us to rush this. You know, we need to take our time. And it's the Wild West in Pennsylvania in terms of data centers right now. We have other clients that are doing a lot of work with specialists to try and craft their ordinance. And quite frankly, Codorus Township needs to take advantage of the work that other folks are doing. You know, there are people that are a little bit further ahead than we are here, and we need to use their work and their efforts to go with this. And I think that because of where we are, the geography, the rural nature, the fact that we don't have the infrastructure to support a data center at this point, and we don't have anybody knocking at our door, we have the ability to take that time. So we are very strongly recommending that we cancel, that the hearing be canceled, and that we work with the Township Board of Supervisors and staff and the solicitor's office to schedule a public forum soon so that we can, I mean, we want to talk about where the infrastructure is. We want to talk about how other folks are trying to deal with data centers. We want to share as much information as we have with the public. Again, like I said, so that we're all starting on the same page. So in a nutshell, that's why the solicitor's office and the engineer's office are requesting that the board please cancel Tuesday's hearing in favor of scheduling a future public forum and restarting a conversation about what it means to create an ordinance to assist with regulating this emerging use. And I'm happy to answer questions if you have them.
I think it was well said.
The lot, oh, go ahead.
No, my only one thing that I would point out would be, when it did go to the York County Planning Commission, their comments were for us to not adopt the ordinance as it was. I don't particularly remember the details, but yeah.
I vaguely remember that now that you said it.
I think the things they mentioned were the aesthetics, the fire suppression. The other thing was the setbacks, which we did change. Those were the things that they said that they would recommend that be looked at, and we did.
Andy said that the aesthetics are, that's really not an issue. The fire suppression, we don't have it in here, but anything to date has fire suppression in it already. So he doesn't understand what that was, what that was about.
Right.
I have a few questions. Number one, I just want to state I was involved in this conversation as a supervisor today. We talked about transparency. The one person that I think was involved was you.
I was.
And
The old.
this isn't on you. This is on our solicitor and our engineer, that the one guy that has other responsibilities as well, was involved in this, and I don't, Charlie, were you asked about this meeting? No. So I just wanna make that comment first.
I did get the email from.
Yeah, I got the email. He does have other responsibilities that we're paying him for to do, and to tie up his time, I don't appreciate, number one. Number two, that was the first thing. The second one is York County and PSATs has both greatly advised us to create an ordinance. Am I right on that?
I'm not saying don't create it, I'm saying slow down.
We worked on this for 6 months. If we don't have an ordinance, I believe I'm correct in saying that if somebody buys, because I think it's going on in Codorus Township right now. If we don't have an ordinance and somebody purchases property, which could be going on right now, for a data center, we could be in a lawsuit with them because we don't have an ordinance allowing data centers in the township. So it's nothing saying they can't be in the township. That's my biggest concern. And, 6 months ago, that was the big hot topic that we talked about right here at the reorganizational meeting, or afterwards, was data centers. And we gotta get something on the books. Lily went to the PSATs conference, that was the biggest thing they talked about, am I right? A couple questions. You made a statement that the damage to be done in this hearing. What damage?
We all feel that there's not a sufficient amount of, like I said, we're not all starting on the same playing field, and there has not been a sufficient enough education that has gone on in order to have the public understand what we are working towards and what is potentially being voted on. And having a public hearing in an environment like that cements viewpoints and opinions and takes options away from us. And it also creates very bad taste in everybody's mouth and ferments ill will. And we do not want to do that. These are opportunities for us to use democracy. This is an opportunity for us to coordinate with residents. This is a good thing to take a pause here.
But it still doesn't solve the case that if somebody comes into this township and buys 500 acres of property, we're gonna be in litigation
No,
against
you're
them
not.
to keep them out.
I-
No, we're not.
No. Why would you be? You
Because
can't
that's-
possibly allow every single use, you can't name every single use that a person can come up with in your zoning ordinance. So typically what happens is if you do not have a use provided for in your zoning ordinance, you're either gonna do a variance or you're gonna do a special exception. The reason why we want to have guidelines in our zoning is so that we legally have a presence at the table and we can guide the development of that particular use. But in no way should the township be in legal jeopardy because they are not specifically identifying regulations for a land use. What you are in jeopardy of is having a development take place that you have not been able to guide per the wishes of the residents. But again, I think that the risk for that is nominal because we don't have the infrastructure to support a data center, and we don't currently have any recommendations before us. And Andy Harold did say, we have a draft. So if we were to get word that, yes, that momentum for a data center moving this way is increasing, well, we have a draft ordinance, we can dust it off, we can begin the process. You've already gotten, as you said, you've already gotten the comments from the York County Planning Commission, so you're part of the way through. But our guidance is your, as your counsel, so to speak, given what's going on with our other clients, what's going on in York County, what's going on across the state, we are highly recommending that we slow down.
One day they will knock at the door. You're saying once they knock at the door, once they knock at the door, then it's too late.
They would have to submit, there's gotta be infrastructure put in place, they'd have to, as
Well,
long as
I
they don't
understand
submit a
all
plan.
that.
And again, none of us can predict the future, none of us have a crystal ball.
So
But-
you're saying that C.S. Davidson and Andy Harold
And Anstein Spuds,
Or-
Sparler,
are saying that they have a better handle on this data center thing than York County and PSATs. Because York County PSATs is telling us, yet won't implement it.
I think we have a better handle on what's going on in Codorus Township than PSATs does, and then York County Planning Commission does. And that's why we, as your consultants, are advising strongly that this is the action you take. Whether you agree with us or not, that's your own personal opinion.
I think that the people, once they, I think this is gonna put such a downturn on this whole thing. We already have this thing started. Why, we spent the money for the advertising. We spent the money for Andy to draft the ordinance. We spent the money to put out the legal notice. People were planning to come to this meeting. And I think that we're gonna put a sense of skepticism in people's minds. And I don't think it's gonna be a good thing for our township. This has been on our agenda. We talked about it last month. There's been some people that have come to talk about it. I'm sure you guys have heard about it from a lot of different people. There's a lot of concerns for it. I'm sure the consensus of the people of our township would be, don't allow them. I wish we could make an ordinance to do that, but that's not the way the law reads. I know that the previous push from C.S. Davidson was to do a agricultural overlay of less productive ground, but that ground is still producing a crop, number one. And why would we ever, and I'm gonna point at those two gentlemen over there, for however 40 some years that this township has been here, why would we give up that ag ground for possibility of data centers?
Nobody wants to.
I know. So my question is, what are we gonna do to change this ordinance? How are we gonna rewrite the ordinance? Maybe you have some insight. How are we gonna rewrite this ordinance to the betterment of, that something's gonna really change if we push this thing off for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months? What are we gonna write into this ordinance? Because I think Andy did a pretty good job.
I can't answer that question,
Yeah.
because I haven't read through the entire
Yeah.
ordinance nor
Yeah.
digested it.
Yeah.
I think it's more than one man's job. I think it needs to be like a team effort of engineers, planning commission, supervisors, lawyers.
But they were all involved for the last 6 months.
Well,
Well, 5 months, or 4 months, actually.
I mean, I'm up to hear what you guys
Well,
think.
first
Before we go to.
First question I wanted to ask you, when we were talking about it before the meeting. So I've done research on kind of putting a pot, is there any fact behind that we could have a moratorium
Yes.
to give us, because I'm at the same, that's the problem with this whole conversation is you're darned if you do and darned if you don't.
So
That's the
moratorium
way that's the
and
way
that-
we're looking at it.
Yeah, and that was a question that now I have
Yeah.
to take back to Andy to ask him if that's a possibility moving
Yeah.
forward, at least for a certain period of time.
I would defer to legal counsel, but even the fact that we have this question and we're proposing a public hearing for ordinance adoption on Tuesday, again, that just speaks to the point maybe we're only delaying for 8 weeks, maybe we're only delaying for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
All we're saying is, we are very concerned and do not think we are ready to have this hearing.
I don't know why all this concern wasn't brought forth 3 months ago. That's my
Most
question.
people didn't know about it.
No, I'm saying from CS Davidson and
We
and
were not,
Andy.
we were not involved or asked to participate in the data center ordinance at all.
Exactly.
But you were attending last month. You were here when this data center ordinance was addressed and voted on. You were here.
You gave us
I
the
was
overview.
I was not read into the comments or the situation. I did not have any factual information with which to barge into your conversation. I do now, okay?
Where's the meeting Tuesday?
This isn't a debate about the
Out here.
ordinance, it's about the
Out
meeting.
here in the shop.
And that's gonna be enough room?
Yeah, I mean, this discussion right now is regarding whether this meeting's occurring Tuesday,
Yeah.
not whether the ordinance is
Right.
appropriate.
Question
as well.
regarding that.
But there's a municipality in your county that has already passed a moratorium so that they can work on their ordinance.
And
And I think we need to pursue that from a legal point of view, from what Jessica was saying about, maybe we've gotten a little ahead of ourselves. I think educating the public is always a good idea.
absolutely.
And maybe canceling this meeting and postponing that a little bit. And I do think there are, as I said last time, some serious defects in the ordinance that need to be adjusted so that we can make sure that it works well for us. But I definitely think, to what Jason was saying, that there has to be a moratorium that says, no data centers until we get this whole thing sorted out and have an ordinance in place, and then,
This is the first that I've heard the word moratorium in this whole conversation.
yeah.
If I would've heard that 4 months ago,
Well,
I'd
Didn't even-
have
I didn't even
been the
realize
first
it.
one on the boat.
I didn't
You're
even realize it was
But now
a
we're here.
thing, but,
Now we're here.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if we cancel this meeting,
yeah.
we're gonna put, we already, and I personally think we should go forward with the ordinance. What's it gonna take to get a moratorium in place? What's that gonna take? That
That's
is,
what we don't,
you don't have.
That's a question I have to ask Attorney Carroll.
we need that answer.
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I need to.
To do it without the attorney.
Jason,
Yeah.
my understanding is, and I think that's what you're trying to say, there's a case in Virginia right now that's the exact same thing. If there's no conditional use ordinance in place, data centers will be allowed by right.
Yep.
And that is the concern
Yes.
for us, that if we have nothing, somebody just bought 150 acres next to me, and they're talking about putting in a major upgrade to the electric. We don't know why, right? But like you said, I don't know what, I don't know. I'm not suggesting that he's thinking about a data center, but it concerns me because of that allowed by right, which is the current situation that we're in right now.
I don't know that it is though, because our municipality planning code is specific to Pennsylvania, and Virginia has their own enabling legislation. I have never heard of a Pennsylvania municipality having to allow a use by right because it wasn't allowed in their
I've heard that
ordinance.
in our
That's-
discussions here. I've heard that in our.
And-
What York County and PSATs is saying.
Yeah, that's what
No,
they're saying.
no, it's a use is not provided for.
Which is usually a special
What,
exception.
you're exactly,
But that
I'm not
was-
sure exactly how this ordinance,
It
how
is-
this ordinance
okay.
reads, but if a use is not discussed in a particular zone, if it's not mentioned at all,
It's good
Can
anyway.
then it's usually permitted by special exception, which you would have to go through all the requirements of that, which I believe.
And they're
if you
very
look at those,
subjective, like
you would
they're-
be able to deny
You
it.
would.
Doesn't stop at that when
But
you
what's the
guys
uses for a special
No.
exemption? Because our uses for special exemption are different for every different thing.
The MPC outlines
It-
12 different
It
criteria.
goes back to whatever your requirements are in your ordinance for a special exception.
But-
And I imagine under those, you could find something to latch on to deny.
Like where-
None of them define
No,
a data center. So if there's a special exemption, there's an acreage requirement for this, and then there's a different acreage requirement for this. There's nothing in there that says data center.
You
There's
don't
no,
need-
there's,
Exactly what,
there's nothing in there that says data center, so how are we gonna tie the data center to the special exemption?
That's
It's
how
it's through the
Jason-
it's through the Pennsylvania Municipalities
Okay,
Planning Code.
Can I please have a second? I personally,
Sorry.
years ago, I personally filed for a special exception under uses not provided for in the agricultural zone. That is the ticket. They're not gonna file for uses not provided for in the commercial zone. They're gonna file for uses not provided for in the ag zone. The problem is, already, and what you do then is you start a comparison. What's already permitted in the ag zone that a data center would look like? We already allow, by special exception, CAFOs, which use just as much water, can cause just as much damage, but we allow that by special exception. And we have that already encompassing hundreds of acres in this township. So if a data center would want to come in, buy ground in the ag center, they would simply apply for a zoning hearing, uses not provided for. Then you're going to have a hell of a time saying, I would rather have dead chickens, swampland, all of this, or this commercial venture that has to be surrounded and taken care of. You're gonna have a heck of a time keeping that data center out of the ag zone under the uses not provided for.
Is that a
My
correct statement?
concern also is
Wouldn't say it's a
already
correct statement. I think
permitted
we're still
by
comparing apples to
Jason,
oranges.
already permitted in the commercial zone by right, without special exception, is heavy storage services. There is no definition of heavy storage services.
Data, storage data, data storage.
There you go. We already allow that in the commercial zone by right, without a special exception. And also, can we just simply get a definition of data center in the ordinance? Because once you have a definition, because you do not have a definition of heavy storage services, and I think if we do anything next week, is at least get the definition into our ordinance and that it belongs in the commercial district.
Just FYI, on Friday, Senate Bill 1359 in Pennsylvania was submitted for a comprehensive moratorium on data centers for 3 years. So that's in.
But has it been approved?
No,
No.
Pennsylvania's already looking at it. So let's do we can do a moratorium on the municipal level. If they're gonna do it on the entire state level, we can do it on the municipal level.
Last year, this was all brought up way before the election.
Then by then-
There was right to know request that was posted. They started showing who was filing right to know requests. I'm usually on that. Also on that was a company called Civic IQ that has been asking for data records from this township for the last year or more. We're already on somebody's radar. That's when I brought it up because it was also in the Lancaster Farmer about these data center pushing into the ag zone, where your governor and your secretary of the ag are all for it. Because we are the least path of resistance.
My only concern is that if we, and I'm not saying that this doesn't need to be, something need to be, it could be amended, it could be, and that's what that's in PSETs, that's what they told her. Get one on the books. If it needs to be relooked at, revisited, amended, whatever, then do it. But if you don't have anything on the books, I guarantee you, our amount of money that we have sitting in our general fund, we were just told, we're in pretty decent shape. We can make 10 months without taking in any revenue. It's gonna go away in a heartbeat if we start fighting against data centers.
Can I read the ordinance on special exceptions? So it says, any use not specifically permitted in the district of, in any of the four districts created by this chapter shall be allowed by special exception in the district or districts where and to the extent that similar uses are permitted or allowed, provided that the said use meets the requirements for special exception and does not constitute a public or private nuisance. A data center would be a commercial operation. It would only be allowed in this area under commercial zoning. The according to that
Your
definition.
CAFOs are industrial use.
I was gonna say, we've been through this once
Your
before.
CAFOs are commercial use.
What is?
That's different.
Your CAFOs,
You're
your
considered
concentrated animal feeding
That's
operation.
an agricultural use.
That's
Still,
It's an agricultural
a
use.
data center is not
It's an
agricultural.
agricultural use.
Alright.
Hey, guys. David.
When C.S. Davidson made the overlay, the township, the commercial areas were not included, only ag was included. So I think that people want to have the meeting, and once they're told it's going to be commercial, it's gonna back it up, you guys can modify an ordinance the following meeting. And if C.S. Davidson and the local attorneys want, I mean, you had the attorney here the whole time, you had C.S. Davidson here the whole time. And now just before, you see what's going on, the treasurer of Pennsylvania, the one that signs our checks, she said she wants a delay or not, I don't, she needs a moratorium, some word pushing it down for building them. That's got nothing to do with an ounce of prevention being worth a pound of cure.
I was just gonna say, the biggest thing about having that meeting is there's so many people online that think you're trying to get something over by getting a data center in. So, oh no, I see that. So I think if you do cancel it, even for a week or two, I cancel it with the thing that we want the public to know that we're not for this. This is gonna help us contain any, mitigate any instances of the data center. Where if you just cancel it, you're gonna see an uproar in public media, and you know what that does.
I can tell you right now, the majority of the people that have been made aware of this meeting in the last week think that you're trying to allow
Right.
data center, and that is bad.
I think the legal notice that was prepared was
No, nobody reads.
a little open-ended.
But it is.
Right.
It is.
Absolutely.
No,
It is
That's
absolutely an
the-
ordinance that allows for data center.
But you don't,
And if you pass that ordinance on Tuesday, good luck getting out of the building.
yeah.
but that's what
Yeah.
we're,
It's ugly.
Yeah.
It's
That's what
really
I'm-
ugly.
Well, and these thoughts in general
Yeah.
are why we're suggesting to pause for a second, because we want to make sure that residents understand why this is even a conversation at this point. And we'd rather not do that at a public hearing. That's just not how good planning is done. That's not the community
That was
conversation.
the point of the open house, we,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
that way we can have everybody's opinions
If
and
you-
not hear,
Wouldn't that be transparency to have it at a public?
not a
That's
hearing.
what you were for, I said.
Hearings are quasi judicial. There's a purpose there, and that purpose is to collect testimony on proposed legislation. And I'm sorry, I just don't think that's that's not the time
Who
for
is the third
education.
party you were referring to earlier?
Re-advertise as this.
Well,
We're like 15
I
minutes
know.
now.
Really dumb question,
One more
just silly. Does it have to be passed on Tuesday? Or can you guys have a public meeting and then be like, nope, we decided we're not gonna do anything, we're gonna look into
Like
it.
table it to another meeting.
Table it to another meeting.
But if you do, in my opinion, and I'm gonna be with her, is just have the meeting and don't decide whether you're gonna pass it or not. But it gives the
Gives you
supervisors the ability to talk to the people, because it is a big deal right now. I've been blasted through email with this notice. It's a major deal. So I think if you shut that door, you're gonna be asking for trouble. Just have an open meeting, but leave the option open so that it is tabled if needed.
See if they
That's
use
my
the
opinion.
memorandum on Tuesday, but does it have to,
Because that-
you have to pass something on Tuesday.
That
Or
would
can
be
it-
your public.
No,
forum.
we don't have to do
Organize it.
anything.
Just do the meeting,
Do
and
the
we'll get
meeting
in the
and table it.
memorandum, and then you can always table it.
And bring educational materials to
Yes.
hand out.
Having the
Yes.
meeting, the engineering company I work for, one of the things they do is design data centers. So I understand them and I understand the impact they have on communities. But having the meeting, remember I said, if you don't have it, it's gonna cause, they're gonna think you're liars. But if you have it, it'll be a public forum and you'll definitely get input. But like she said, you don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure, the electrical or the water infrastructure in this township to handle something like that.
So, and I agree with you, and that was what I said.
Right.
But our zoning officer in our reorganizational meeting scared me. And he told me, you have York City Water in Jefferson.
Yeah,
Transmission lines are easy.
yeah,
Water's the
Yeah.
problem.
Right.
yeah.
And now, we don't even, from what I understand, and maybe you know, since you're in the building of them, we don't even really need water.
Right.
There's these closed systems that
Yeah.
you don't need water. You need water to get them started, but it's purified water and it's contained.
Right. It's rechargeable.
Transmission lines are the,
It's easy,
that's easy.
Right.
especially.
And it
for-
scared me.
Right, well, it's easy, but it still takes time.
Right.
It's not
But
gonna
once
delay
they,
them.
once they start the process, once the property's bought,
We can't stop them.
Right,
Yeah, money's no option for them. They're gonna
Right.
it's,
spend whatever they have to get up and running.
if you have the meeting, go ahead and have it, and use that as your public forum, and then the next day, modify it to basically a moratorium, or make it so hard that, yeah, we'll let you build a center, but here's what you have to do. You have to pay for all utilities, all water, your minimum pay rate must be $40 million a year, whatever, just to make it hard for them to do.
I think the only issue with that is what they're saying is, in order to generate that kind of information by a couple of days, so to speak. You know, cause that would be the best thing would be to have the engineers here to say, this
Let
is,
them answer the question, not you guys, let the
Yeah.
engineers.
I have no idea how a data center works. I just,
but, and not to be disrespectful to C.S. Davison, C.S. Davison is not a data center engineer. So how are they gonna answer the questions about data centers?
Yeah, we can. So all we're trying to advise on is the planning process. We're not trying to advise on the ordinance at all. Our comments were generated because we are not comfortable with the process to date. And we are not comfortable.
And
with
that's
it
where I
here
go
on
back to,
Tuesday.
why are we having this conversation this many days till we
Six.
have this meeting?
We should-
6
days.
months and 6
I-
days to stop.
We should have.
I just, I don't understand that.
Especially when they were both involved the whole time.
It's been on the agenda, it's
And
been,
if Davidson doesn't have the data center info, get a specialist in.
okay,
Hire somebody.
can you vote to have the hearing next week? Have the hearing next week and then agree to gather information from the questions that are presented and the concerns that are presented, then hold, because it isn't something you can do the next day, because this is, it's transparency. You can't just have an executive session, which I have a little concern at how, we don't have a township manager. So I don't know how one supervisor did not get a call to have this conversation, to have this on the agenda this evening. I agree with you, Jason. I'm not sure how this got to this point, and that is transparency in itself.
Regardless of that, I think the question is, the township has been discussing this for 6 months. We're
More
not
than that.
protected right now. This ordinance, this meeting would provide an opportunity for the people that don't want a data center to hear that the ordinance is to protect the farmland and put it on commercial, which we're not protected for. And recently, we just heard that it's gonna take 9 to 12 months of educating the public. The public is super educated. When you have a meeting and you say, we don't want to have this on ag, we want it on commercial, you're gonna shift all the passion. The passion is don't destroy the farms. We're exposed now. Is that not the case? And then once you pass, if you have the meeting and you have the ordinance and you say, what do you guys wanna add to the ordinance? You can, I'm repeating myself, you can change it the next month. And C.S. Davis, they wanna add more stuff, we can add more stuff later, but it's wide open, right? The clear point is it's wide open, and buying time is gonna look cowardice to everybody else, and it's, the ag land is not protected. Multiple people have discussed that.
Well, but it's not only the ag part. There is, and the good majority of people don't even care that it's farmland. They don't want the utilities, the fees going up, the water usage, all that. So you can't concentrate just on, we're gonna put it in commercial. Because then all the people living around commercial sites are gonna be going, so what's our rates gonna go up? So you have to make sure it's covered everything in there to prevent
So,
They were advised it wasn't legal to do that. They were advised that they had to, it would be an unusable space, they had to provide use somewhere.
okay, guys, this conversation was just to have her speak, and we let a lot of people talk, and it's great to have the input, and now we're gonna move on to non-agenda public comments. On
Did we
3.
come to a decision about what we're gonna do?
Are you gonna have the
You
meeting?
didn't vote to have it.
You made a motion.
Have a meeting or not?
So we have to vote on whether we're gonna have the,
But do we have to call it a hearing? Can we just say when people get there, we're not doing an official hearing? We're gathering your information?
well, we,
Put that out.
We could have,
The attorney can tell us that. What does the attorney say? Can we do that?
no, but I'm
It's
saying,
either have it, don't have it.
well, what I'm saying is right now, if we're gonna have it, then we don't have to do anything because it's already. We were just discussing whether we were gonna cancel it.
I
Right.
was under the impression a motion only needed to be made if it was canceled.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not canceled, then everything stands the way it is right now.
Yeah.
And in that meeting, the way that it is set to have, whatever you, hearing, special meeting, whatever you wanna call it, we can do what we want with the ordinance, and we can also accept people's commentary
Well, you're gonna have it.
and have engineers' commentary as well, from my understanding.
you can't doubt you'll get any kind of special engineer
Right.
But, no.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jason, it
Yeah.
might help if you had some York County engineers here too.
That was my only thing, is the short notice. But I mean,
Do you want to ask C.S. Stevenson to give us some educational information in that meeting? And maybe hand out some information?
I don't think we have enough paper in this entire township for that. But,
No, just
I
an
mean,
overview, you know, basics.
Can I ask a quick question? Where is the draft ordinance located right now? Like, where can I look at that?
It's on our website.
It is on
Yep.
the website.
If you'd like, I can print you a copy as
Oh,
well.
I would love that.
Okay.
Does anybody have an idea of how much transmission lines they're gonna come through the ag zone? The transmission lines will come through the ag zone.
What happened to Maryland? Maryland
How much
residents
is
can't
that?
Well, they did that with the sewage, I think, they went through the farms and told them.
So the transmission line's gotta be considered too, so there's gonna be lots of things.
I agree, and that's for Tuesday, because I'm not staying here all night.
Are we changing the venue? Are you staying?
It will be here,
Okay.
Yep.
and enjoy the amenities of our shop.
Hopefully it ain't raining. I'm trying to make it, hopefully it ain't raining.
So, like,
Sunny at 85.
let's go to public comment.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people question.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, we'll put you out.
No motion.
Nothing, we're gonna have it? Yeah.
Well then, to get an
Yeah.
answer, I'm curious about that.
That's the main thing, is if we
Because then you can have a discussion, not
Yeah.
involved in that.
the moratorium type of deal.
This gentleman here has
Well,
public comment.
I had one question I asked earlier that wasn't answered, I don't wanna continue that conversation much longer, but who are the third interested parties in the situation that was referred to?
I think I was referring to,
You said the township, the county, you, and there was like another interested
Yeah,
party.
the third party, your engineer is a third party and your solicitor is a third party, and that's what I was
Our
referring
firms
to.
technically.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just was like, who else is possibly interested? Those are the only ones where they're, like, we're not even naming off the list. Okay, so, just out of curiosity, like, what are the township's regulations or general viewpoint on shooting lasers through people's windshields while they're driving?
It's a police issue.
Well, no, it's a township issue
It
because
seems like an issue for law enforcement.
That sounds like his issue.
it's on AKFO, which is apparently agricultural, so you can't do
Hold on,
anything
hold
about
on, hold on.
Let him speak. He can
So your
speak.
question is laser pointers pointed at people?
it. No, lasers being used for, I assume, agricultural purposes, being
shines through the street, through windshields, into people's faces.
L&L egg uses
Yep.
green lasers to scare off.
I almost
Yeah.
went off the road 3 times and it happened twice this week, because when you're driving in the middle, it's dark,
I can attest to that.
Yeah,
a
he's
bright,
not-
dime-sized
Yeah.
green laser shoots through your windshield and into your eyeball.
So let me ask you, is it someone doing it, or is there like a machine?
It's on a pole, it is random.
Yes.
There's about 3 of them out there.
Yeah.
So, the only thing I can
And it's
think
been there
of
for years.
that would fall under, it'd fall under reckless endangerment, because it's one of those things, if you're shining a laser at someone driving a vehicle, if they're going 35 miles an hour, if they're going 50 miles an hour, you crash that car, it's gonna be injuries. So it'd fall under that.
Okay, but
Now,
who
okay.
handles that? Is that the township or is that you?
It would be us, but
Okay,
then
so-
it'd also fall back on the township as well, because I don't know if there's any zoning ordinances with that, or any other things like that. We can only do the criminal side of things, when it comes to it being up there, I don't know if
Well, I
that's.
understand, so a criminal, there would have to be a criminal case, which means there'd have to be an accident, but as the
That's
gentleman
not
behind
true.
me.
That's not true.
Okay,
So-
well, then I'm wrong that, but as the gentleman behind me pointed out before, there is a blending of what is and isn't agricultural, because what you would consider agricultural a few years ago, and you referred to as apples and oranges, has been turned into fruit salad now, so,
If it's reckless endangerment, it's reckless endangerment.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's, it would be the.
well, you could say that about
Charge
trucks
for
going down roads that weren't built for trucks, so, I mean,
No, this is.
I'm just saying, if that's your
Does he need to
definition,
file a report with
your
you guys,
definition
and
could be
you
used
guys
all
investigate?
reasons.
So basically, your best bet would be either file a report tonight, there's plenty of us working, or the next time it happens, if you know where it is, you can just call us. Anytime you guys have any services that you need us,
I
we'll
can-
service it.
Okay, I mean, I don't know, because it's, again, like, as far as I know, nobody's gone off the road, but it's happened to me dozens of times. And I assume it's a township issue, because the townships has allowed them to do a lot of things that aren't typically considered okay for the rest of us.
So that's one of those things you fall into. I'm not trying to,
I understand.
bad answer, but.
It's a murky subject.
You fall into the gray area.
All night.
It is reckless endangerment, it's.
I thought he saw UFOs until I
Anyone's
saw
on the side of the road, I'm driving up the road, that's reckless endangerment all day. There should be no difference if something's on top of a pole, point a laser at people on the roadway, there should be some sort of barrier that blocks the roadway from that laser pointer reaching it, because at the end of the day, even just looking at it civilly, if that were to cause a crash, ultimately, what caused the crash? It wasn't the person just driving normally, it was a laser pointer going into his eyes, causing the crash.
Okay, so does the township have an opinion on, does that need to be, if they're going to allow the use of those type tools for agricultural purposes, apparently it's to keep birds away from avian flu or something, how do you restrain that and keep it within the bounds of the property?
I don't know, but if they're gonna do anything, it needs to be done safely,
Yeah, no,
obviously.
I mean,
I don't
like
know
right
why
now,
they
it's
don't,
just like.
at nighttime, it ought to be turned, birds don't fly at night.
Well, no, but alright, let's just assume they have on timers and the time zone changes, and then you're now, what was 9 o'clock daytime isn't anymore, and there's gonna be tons of excuses, cause that's all there's ever been.
So they have to be responsible for their actions.
But
Somebody needs to
has
go out and
to,
flip the light switch on and flip it off.
somebody has to make them responsible.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe a
the
simple
problem.
phone call to them might suffice. I can
That's
at
the
least
first
try
I've
that
heard.
first. I mean, I've seen it, but I've never heard actually, I've never had an issue
It's
with it.
happened
I've
to-
heard him talk about it, but
At least 2 summers now,
yeah,
2 nights ago.
yeah, it's, yeah.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Mark,
Mark, would you like to speak to the trooper about it?
sure, why not?
Then all I'm gonna say to you is when you get home tonight, just give us a call, we'll come out, and then we'll come talk to you there, alright?
Okay.
And then, at least then it'll be documented, there'll be incident number, you want the incident number, you have access to it, same thing.
Well, like I said, I didn't know how it was even handled, because I mean, I could sit there and call, I didn't even come here for the data center, although there were some interesting things brought up. Yeah, it's been going on, and clearly everyone knows about it, but nothing's been done about it, and it's only a matter of time until somebody's serious.
Ultimately, unless someone brings it to our attention, there's no way for us to know.
Okay, well, I guess I'm doing that.
That's why I said, later tonight, there's troopers working 24/7, so.
Okay.
Just
Well,
call us, we'll
Thank
come
you very
out.
much, I
The
appreciate it.
official way to bring it to their attention is to file a report.
Is that your legal information?
That's definitely legal information.
Any other public comment?
Charlie,
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do,
What's that?
I have public comment.
Okay. Let him go first. No. We'll get to you.
You should all have a copy from,
Yes.
SYC.
Yeah.
Yep, I read that.
We've been talking about, the bleachers down there, the benches are in bad shape now.
see the price there, when the
Yep.
bill of material is only for one unit, they want to build 2 units. And they're wondering if we would help with some of the cost. The cost for 2 of them is $11,959.
Yeah.
And you might see that the metal roofing is not included.
Yeah.
Somebody is personally gonna take care of
Oh, okay.
the roofing. But I kinda thought maybe we ought to kick in maybe $2,000 or $3,000, and I think they'll be willing to foot the rest.
And they're willing to pay to upgrade our park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that going through coming out of the rec board budget?
It should.
It's a capital
Yeah.
improvement.
Do they need, does the recreation board need to approve that? We have a meeting on Monday.
I think we could approve it conditionally.
But I think they should.
I think, yeah, that's what I mean, like,
Yeah.
And is this on the small field or?
Yeah,
The softball.
softball.
It's gonna come out of the rec.
it's gonna,
They'd
yeah,
like
it's a
to get
capital.
started as
improvement.
quickly as they can.
Yeah, they wanna get
And they
started.
propose they can do one in 1 week and then one in the next week.
Okay.
And as far as the walking, I talked to the Eagle Scout that built that. He's proposing not to take all the hand railings down and start over and he plans on getting started in 2 weeks. Another thing I noticed this week is School Stick Road, these big garbage trucks are going down there. We can put no trucks on that road, just sounds like, just like we did out here.
Did you say stick school?
Yeah,
You mean the short?
yeah,
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 yeah.
they're tearing that road up.
I was thinking about putting it back to dirt.
Oh, it's about there.
Yeah. Did you guys put some blacktop down?
The PennDOT, when they did 216, they had some left over, so they just casually drove the paver down the road.
Looks pretty terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a mess.
It was a little, somebody miscalculated by about 40 tons.
So where were you gonna stand, Bruce? I'm not gonna know what to tell him till
I mean,
they approve the money.
that,
Yeah.
I mean, you just gonna approve the money.
we
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
we can approve it,
And
and,
then
and they can, yeah.
Write the check.
the kid can, yeah.
They can write the check, right?
Yeah, they're right.
I mean, that ain't coming out, but just so it's coming out.
That's coming up, yeah, that's a,
We can go ahead, is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
yeah, but,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll.
I thought you meant like they would stand out. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you better, I mean, you probably should, because they're gonna meet on Monday, and they wanna get started, so,
I'm too scared to get to jail, so.
I would say,
Okay,
we need an
I
amount
can't
to
imagine.
kick in, I guess.
do we wanna,
We might need extra.
what do we wanna do, 2,000 apiece on, because it is our part.
Yeah, that's right, sure.
Jake?
2,000 a dugout.
As long as it's coming out of the rec.
Oh, yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But do we wanna put,
So it'd be 4 total.
yeah, do we wanna put two grand apiece from,
Out of the rec fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good with me. I mean, that's what it's there for. is for
Yeah,
improvement.
oh, yeah, that's what,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the rec
Yeah.
fund is currently gonna be, try and be allocated to, the pickleball project
Yeah.
at some point. So we've gotta be careful
yeah,
about, spending money.
We should be rounding up some funds anyway.
Yeah.
So what are you saying, Charlie, you're giving 2,000 each one?
yeah, that's,
4,000 total.
So we're, I
that-
can tell him we're kicking in 4.
yeah,
Yeah.
is that, that's.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, except for saying aye, that we
Aye.
do the dugouts.
Dugouts. Play ball.
Motion carries. Do pay them.
This is slow, so I
Can you just give me the information so I can make sure I get that? Whenever, is,
I'll give you a copy.
yeah, that'd be
One
great.
more.
Actually,
Actually, can I talk about solar?
yeah.
Yeah.
I had, first of all, my question, the solar installation up near behind Dollar General, is that on our land?
Jefferson Borough.
Who, do we know whose it is? Anything about it?
But it was in, it's in, that little piece is in the borough.
In the borough, yeah, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to, solar, but, I would like to see it done right, and there's lots of things you can do. I don't know where you're deciding to put it, and if you're deciding to include ag, then you should definitely include agrovoltaics. In other words, you're getting agricultural use out of the same place that you're putting solar. And, also, there's a whole bunch of technologies that makes all of that possible, for grazing and crops and all sorts of things. And also to manage stormwater, because it's impervious surface, lots of it.
Absolutely.
And, so that's a good problem, and I hope that, that we get a lot more information from specialists who know about solar, particularly solar design and all the different agrivoltaics you can do. And before we get in the same situation that we've gotten in with this, data center ordinance, which is, the groundwork hasn't been done before we got to it. So, anyway, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Any other public?
Yeah, one more thing with the rec board, we're planning to do the summer conference series next summer. Hopefully you guys got to see the document I submitted, the plan. The big thing right now is we want to try and do a trial concert in September on the 13th, which is a Sunday, and we verified that the pavilion and everything's available. And we have at least one sponsor to help pay for the band and stuff, but basically a trial. We want to get some volunteers out, and we want to see how the concert goes and make sure there aren't any issues with how everything goes, and if there's anything we need to address before we try and do a real concert series next summer.
When are you planning on doing that?
September 13th, it's a Sunday, from 3 to 5:30. Sunset on the 13th is around 7 p.m., so we figured that if we ended at 5:30, we can get everybody out of the park by sunset. And we're looking for some volunteers. We're gonna probably get about 10 volunteers to help just clean up and watch everything while the concert's going on and that sort of thing. We do have a band that we're interested in getting that's a bluegrass band from the area, from the local area. We're not obviously gonna restrict the concert series next year to any certain type of music, but we did want to try and have one just to see how it goes. We are considering having some food trucks there. It is limited space in the parking lot, so we want to minimize that. So we kind of put a plan together. Hope you guys get a chance to look at it. It is a preliminary plan, but we do have to start moving forward shortly. The sponsorship thing is a big deal because the rec board funds we just talked about are for permanent structures and stuff like that, not for paying for a band. So we're looking to get sponsors to pay for the facilities and stuff. So that's something that I guess I have to get together with Lily and Brandon and you guys to talk about how we would handle those funds if we get sponsors and get checks in, and how that money gets handled. Is it just, we just note that we have it and then spend it accordingly or whatever?
Okay.
I had solar comments. Do you want to hold that until the discussion on solar? Or?
You might wanna bring it up now, because
Yeah.
we might not make a motion.
Yeah, we might not make a motion for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
In reading through this, it looks like it's aimed at a facility similar to the one in Jefferson. But what I don't see are any allowances or any exclusions for homeowners' setups. These are awful extensive requirements for a homeowner to put in a system, like noise studies and glare studies and several other things in here that are pretty extensive for a homeowner to do. And I think you essentially wouldn't be able to do a system at your house if you've got something like this. The only thing that I read that came close to addressing it was this idea that if it was, I think your definition says it was primarily intended to feed the grid as opposed to on-site. But that's just in one of the definitions. primarily for off-site use, that it's in the definition of solar energy facility. But I think it should be a little more explicit to allow small facilities. There's no size criteria in here, kilowatt productions or anything like that, that if you're over or under, you'd be subject to a different set of rules. So, that's my comment.
So this was something I brought up last month to Andy, that we didn't have any decommissioning of, this has been in our ordinance, I think, Mrs. Lawson left, but this has been in our ordinance, this isn't anything new. It's just that there was no decommissioning, the wasn't written very well, and, Andy took it upon himself to basically write a whole new solar ordinance. But you're right, for the homeowner, it needs to have wordage in there that a homeowner could put solar, because that's not.
30 grand in testing.
That wasn't, the intention is big solar, like
Yeah,
Jefferson.
I mean, that's how it reads, but
Right.
but it
But
applies
you're
to
right.
anything.
No,
You're right.
It's a good.
You're right, so we'll have to, and the only reason it was, it was on here is to go to planning commission so they can review it and get there, so that's,
Start doing what you just did.
so,
Yep.
that's good input, yeah.
Right.
What's your name?
Kirk McClellan.
So are you gonna let the planning commission know that, or does he have to, or how are you gonna
Mrs. Chair is here right now, so she's
listen?
Mrs. Chair of the planning commission, chairwoman. You guys have the order, you have the, she didn't have it, that's the next thing to talk about. Just try to do that. It's not, after the audit review, it's supposed to be solar ordinance discussion.
Okay, so we got an old, it's supposed to be solar ordinance.
After the audit review.
I didn't see that either.
It's, she printed these, but
Okay. They're just like that. I didn't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to encourage you, when you pray, don't be like the hypocrites who love to pray publicly on street corners and in synagogues where everyone can see them. I tell you the truth, that if all the reward you will get. But when you pray, go away by yourself, shut the door behind you, and pray to your Father in private. When you pray, don't babble on as the Gentiles do. They think that prayers are answered merely by repeating the words again and again. Don't be like them, for your Father knows exactly what you need even before you ask Him. Pray like this: Our Father in heaven, may your name be kept holy. May your kingdom come soon. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today the food we need, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Father, we ask you to bless our troops, our responders, our government, our supervisors, Charlie, Brendan, and Jason, and all the staff that support this township. Protection and peace. Keep us safe on Tuesday. In Jesus' name.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
I guess we're at Carol.
No, they are accessory residence.
After all that, I guess we're.
Yeah. Okay, I guess now more than ever, with where properties are located and what properties are available for development, we now have our saldo in for review with your county planning commission. And that is the subdivision and land development ordinance, another ordinance that will be coming back in front. I was at a planning commission meeting last month, and once again, there was a resident that had a concern, how many building rights, and they couldn't answer the question. They couldn't even explain how the Codorus Township ordinance works. That is a misservice to our residents, and if we are going to go up against any fights against any type of data center or corporations, you need to have the right people in the right positions to be able to back up our ordinance. The question I still have is, why are we not using the maps? The tax maps that were developed when our ordinance was developed, that actually show the tracts of ground. I was told by the planning commission chairman that those maps are too fragile to be used, which is completely wrong. Those maps were copied and put on a USB. They were sent to Andy, Brandon, and Lily by myself to them because the previous secretary, through Right to Know, made those available. Those maps showed this whole township. The acreage, the building rights available, who owned them at the time, and the whole thing about contiguous tracts. I mean, that couple, that engineer that was there presenting the subdivision plan, she left having to go do research, which I went home, I did the exact same thing. It took me about 20 minutes to prove that his tracts were contiguous in 1974, which would have limited his building rights. And you could also see that not all of the building rights came off. One of them, I believe, came off prior to the ordinance. I mean, I don't understand why we are not using these maps and who made that decision, because it had never been voted on. The planning commission does not have the authority to make that decision. And if those, and I will say it again, if those maps would have been presented to us, in our case, our situation would have been over in probably 2 years, because there was a lot of questions we had that were not answered. So I would just like to know, A, why are we not using these tax maps? Because you're gonna need them. If a data center comes in and starts claiming they're buying all this ground, and then, you know, who's contiguous, who's not, and if they're trying to subdivide it. Because the subdivision land development ordinance is the basis before you can do anything. I mean, you have to first prove that your property is legally situated before you can actually take one step further. I also do have a concern addressing the transparency issue. The saldo revisions were voted on last year to start discussing them. It was never discussed at a planning commission meeting. They were held in small groups, as in very small groups, as in the chairman of the planning commission and C.S. Davidson. There were never reports given to the planning commission except for one time, and ever since March, when I started asking where are the updates, all I was told was we're working on it. If you want to talk about transparency, plus then last month when the saldo revisions were going to planning commission, there was a mistake. Verbiage was added to this when all along we were just simply told, you know, this was just a simple review. And they added verbiage to the definition of tract, which would have changed how everything plays out as far as subdivisions and who has a building right. And I would like to get if I can get a copy of that draft ordinance that went to your county, please. Because I want to make sure that that revision was taken out. And I think that's it. Thank you.
And we did discuss this about working on the maps with Lily. I mean, we didn't work.
It's gonna be a
on that.
lengthy process,
But they all, to get everything laid
I'm
out.
not asking you to make changes, I'm saying
No.
start using them.
Yeah.
My question is why, I mean, they're not, they're outdated as far as who was making.
Yeah.
There were corrections made to that in 2004. So you simply do an overlay of what it was then, what it is now, and you can simply see the change.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. The audit review. You're up.
All right. So I'm Jen Kruger-Gibby. I'm the independent auditor for 2025 for the township. So we audited the annual financial report. That's the DCD that has to be submitted to the state. And that includes the general fund, the liquid fuels fund, and the recreation fund, as well as the township's pension fund. So the opinion we gave on that DCD report is unmodified. So it is the best opinion that the township can receive. where we stated that the financial statements are materially accurate in accordance with the DCED reporting instructions. Now, as Jason mentioned, the fund balance of the general fund, I think it was about $962,000, so that's more than the minimum suggested requirement from the GFOA, that's the Government Finance Officers Association. So that will cover about 10 months of operating expenses, so a healthy fund balance in the general fund. And we also provided a separate letter to management on some improvements for internal controls.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
I would like to make a recommendation, based on that audit that, we audit Megan Harris's accounts. The auditor's guide suggests that anytime an officer leaves, employment, that we audit their records. So I would like to make a recommendation that we do audit her accounts, have the township auditors perform that.
Any comments about that, guy?
I don't see a problem with it. I think it would make
No.
sure everything's clear. I just don't know if, can we vote on that to, it's gonna involve money.
The cost is limited to about 50 hours, and I need that ordinance. There's an ordinance with the amount that the auditors make,
Yeah.
which I don't have. But I believe it's $18 an hour, and the maximum number of hours is 50 hours, which I think is $900 per auditor. It's not a lot of money,
Yeah.
plus mileage and things, so it's not expensive.
Just that we have to propose it at a meeting on the agenda.
Yeah.
Cause it
So-
has to be, you can't amend
so
it
we
if it
can-
involves.
As a
It
part
involves
of the
money.
audit review,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Can we can get it on next month's
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah, we can.
Okay,
We can.
Yeah,
do
we'll
that.
do it.
Yeah, we can do
Next
that.
month's agenda will be,
Yeah.
and
okay,
That-
all right,
Yeah, we'll go from there with that.
all right, thank you.
Okay. And then, if I had the right paper, you wanna discuss the solar ordinance? Is that what we're, okay.
So, yeah, I already made mention that I just asked Andy about looking at the decommissioning of the solar ordinance, last month, and he created this new solar ordinance, which, I don't know if he already did this for somewhere else, or not.
Couldn't tell you that.
But, it is pretty lengthy, and it's a lot more to it than what was originally, and I think, it actually is a standalone ordinance, am I correct?
It is.
So it would, come out from underneath a special exemption, or special, right now it's in that list of those 14
Special
things
exception hearing, yeah.
where you have to give up a dwelling right in order to create this.
Yeah.
So I just make a motion to present it to the, planning commission for them to review and give their recommendations, and, with the, recommendation already given by the homeowner, which is, that's why we have these meetings.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion. You mean to
So
our
that-
planning commission?
Our planning.
Yeah. So, all those in favor, consent by saying aye.
Aye.
So that's that. Jason, you're next with
Yep.
the radar.
Yeah, so, I looked into this a little bit, and I just wanna know if this is something that you guys would entertain, before I spend any more time on it, or I'd already asked Lily if whoever we buy our signs from.
Yeah, it doesn't work that easily.
Okay. Well, they do,
I can get them, but if I'm not mistaken, they have to be certified over a certain period of time for them to even be admissible, so to speak.
Chris Kababa, is that his name?
Kaba, yeah. Kaba.
What's your?
He's hungry. That's,
You're my
yeah,
notes too.
I didn't have much to eat today. He sent some, I just wanna know, I don't wanna spend much time on this at all. If you guys are willing to, from what I found, you can start at base price is about $2,500. They can, for one sign. They can only be, per Pennsylvania law, on Pennsylvania, which 516, 851,
State,
if they're on state roads, they can only be there for 2 months.
oh,
you have to move them. And I think that the effectiveness of them would be that you would move them, because it's flashing the sign. I don't know how you guys are, but when I see one of them things going into Jefferson, when I see that, slow down, I'm doing 47 or 57 or whatever, and it's 35.
Watch what you say.
I offered him a chair. I personally find it a challenge to try and get that fast, But when you're coming down that hill, that big hill, but when you see that sign, it slows people down.
It rings your bell.
We've talked about the truck traffic on 516 out here coming down past the ant plant. We talked about it. We've had residents complain about 851 out past Rudders. If you guys are willing, and we don't think we have to make a motion or anything, but if you guys are willing to entertain the idea for the safety and welfare of our community.
Need to talk to PennDOT.
Well, he sent us the information.
Okay, yeah.
It's all in that, because we talked about it that day with.
You have anything to add on? They're probably pretty effective, aren't they?
So I think the main issue with the speed cameras, it's a speed camera, correct?
Just displays.
Just
It's just a display.
Just a
No
speed
citation
display.
or anything?
No citations.
Then that'd be fine. As I said, the biggest issue that they run into with the construction that we've been doing on 83 is they actually do have cameras there that are stationary. I'm sure you've seen the signs. The problem is, a lot of times they do get speeders, we don't always know who's driving. So ultimately, that's PennDOT's, and that's the issue they ran into at the beginning. If you're just talking about getting the signs to slow people down, they are usually effective. However, every once in a while, you'll run into someone that just doesn't care.
Right. And
They
I
might know that's not
understand.
right. I think ultimately, in the long run, if it slows people down, I think it's effective because it's less crashes we have to handle, and it keeps you guys safe. So.
Do you have any other suggestions besides that? Is there something else you find more effective in other townships?
The only other thing I could say is if you have like a problem area, for example, going down the hill, the best thing you could do is you call into the barracks. Again, making us aware of this stuff is the only way that we are able to we cover the whole county. I know there's other local jurisdictions, but if you don't contact us, we don't know. If you contact us and just formally ask us to run speed radar, if it's only between 3 and 4 o'clock, we have a trooper there. Again, it all depends on manpower, but we get a trooper there at least 1 hour a day. Even if it's a couple hours a week, it's just slow people down. And I found that, I've worked in 5 other counties, so I found that does typically work after we get a couple of complaints, we get it out there, we show presence for about a month or two, people typically slow down, so.
Can I get you on Craig's Road to see?
No. I've been calling and asking for Schaefer's Church for months.
Just
I
basically
got
just,
Logan.
Who should you talk
Lots
to?
of Logan.
your best bet would be to call in and ask for the sergeant, he usually works during the morning. I think it's between 8 and 4. If a sergeant's not available, a corporal can also do it, so myself, well, I'd recommend just calling in during the day shift, because there's a little bit more manpower. So it's-
Yeah, I know how many of you guys are on duty at a time for the area that you're covering.
Right.
It's bad. So I get it.
I will say that, yes, we do cover the county, however, the example tonight is, it's myself and then several other troopers. We do have a trooper covering this zone, what we call this zone here. It's this township and Springfield Township, so I understand this is a big township to cover, however, we're very limited on manpower. However, I have the numbers here, if anyone has questions about it, I can show you the numbers that we are in the township whenever we can be, and there is always a trooper in this township, so if there is ever an emergency, or even if it's something minor, just give us a call, we'll come out.
And just to let you know, at Cross Creek Farm, there's a restroom there, you're welcome to use. If you're sitting there watching the ball,
So I'll make sure to let you guys know.
Thank you.
it's an actual.
Is there a way we can get authority to, monitor speed?
So anyway,
Moving forward,
I don't have a problem with it.
$2,500, like I said, is the base price.
Yeah.
And, okay, that's
Well,
good.
the HOA and the new developer, the Codorus Estates, bought 2 of them, and I think they were around the same price, so it shouldn't be that hard for them.
What are we doing?
We're gonna put radar signs up on those. I can get them, yeah, it's not hard.
I'm just wondering how.
As long as PennDOT clears me, I mean, I have to put up their
I'm
road
just wondering
signs
what
and
I need
everything.
to do, that's all.
Nothing.
No, I think they were just telling us.
Yeah,
they
we're
were gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
No
you.
big deal.
And basically
No
look
motion
into
or
it.
We have to vote on it later.
Yeah.
Another meeting, we're gonna vote on the signs.
We need to get, before we go spending a bunch of time,
It's just an idea, yeah. So,
Okay.
And honestly, I'll talk to DB Craig too, because they make signs, they'll know.
Yeah, I just didn't.
I can get this together quick enough, so. Oh, yeah, me, my turn, okay,
Brandon, can I make a comment on that?
oh yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I know you're here, but, my store and my house is on 516, right at the turn as you're going up towards Jefferson.
Okay,
It's 45 miles an hour.
okay.
People do 70. I've almost been hit multiple times coming out of my driveway.
Alright.
It's not a good spot.
I'm a truck driver by trade. Those flashy signs don't mean squat to a lot of people. Enforcement is the only cure. I know you guys are limited. There's, as you said, there's maybe one or two that are here on a regular basis. If you kind of like put 10 here for a month, nail 100 people, that's gonna stop a lot of this people.
Where did you said your store was located there?
2702 Jefferson Road.
So, I work,
That's Hill Climb at 516.
so I work nights the rest of the weekend. If you call in on Monday, on day shift, just call in. I can try to set something up that we would have, what we call it is just, patrol check, stationary patrol, whatever the case is. We can just run a detail right there. It might be one of those things, if we only do it once a week for a month, like you said, it might be enough. Unfortunately, it's one of those things, we can only do so much, so we're usually heavier in the beginning of the week, with more people working. So that's why I said, if you call Monday, I'm working Monday from 6 to 2, just call in, I can try to set something up. It might not be that Monday, it might be later in the week, but again, if you call in and make a complaint either to a corporal or a sergeant, we're able to set something up that's always on between these times throughout a week, a month, whatever the case may be. So that's why even the same things, we have multiple domestic security checks at the schools that we have to clear out every single morning shift. Even on the weekends, we still go there, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure the kids are safe. So, again, if you just call us and let us know, we can help you out as best we can. Can't promise anything just because, again, we're Covert County, but we'll do our best, 'cause at the end of the day, we want to avoid that to happen.
And the accident that happened last Sunday, was happened because of speed.
Right.
And she was pulling out, and the car kind of drifted over and head on.
Was that in the morning?
Yeah. She was on her way to church, yeah.
Okay, it should have been my squad working. Unfortunately, I wasn't working last week, but I can talk to that trooper to just see where it's at. But again, it just adds to it. And we also run the numbers on our end. Again, going back to what our systems, how I can show you all the calls that we've taken so far in the township in the last year. And we could plug it down to exact T at that intersection there. If we've taken 20 crashes in the last 2 months there, obviously it's an issue. And if I had to guess, it sounds like it's gonna be from speed. So again, if you just call in, I'm not saying you can't call in tomorrow, but I'm here right now talking to you. It'd be best if you call Monday, this way I can talk to you again and we try to set something up, alright? Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.
Okay,
Building repair quote, we only received one, and it is astronomical. Somewhere in here, you guys have it too. Simply put, we are legally allowed to reject it and re-advertise and rebid, because I truly believe, I think you guys feel the same, that it didn't get out there. It just didn't get out there, so.
Can we all one motion?
Yeah, it'll be a motion, I'll make the motion to reject this bid and re-advertise.
Reject all. I know you got one, but yeah.
Reject all bids, yes.
Yep.
So that's second.
Second. All those in favor, consent by saying aye. Motion rejected.
Alright, employee wages, this is just a note for you guys. The employee handbook here is completely ridiculous and out of date. It hasn't been followed, everybody's gone through, issues with their pay or something. So what I'm suggesting is between now and the beginning of the year, our reorganizational meeting, we have something for any employees that, moving forward, that spells out what they make, how they make it, their time off, all of it. Cause I'm pretty sure that the handbook hasn't been updated since,
A long time.
not a bad problem, yeah. Yeah, so,
I mean, work out.
I'm pretty sure that the phone still had cord in the house, so, yeah. And the only other thing I have right now is, the motion to ratify the hiring of our new employee, Zach Weaver, who will be starting Monday morning, next Monday morning.
Do you need a second?
So that'll, yeah, I make the motion to ratify that, and
I'll make a second. I'll second. All those in favor, consent to saying aye.
Aye. We'll look into your speed signs. It's pretty
So
much.
they would be through PennDOT would
Well,
probably.
PennDOT's a little funny.
Did you have to mention that we increased pay? Did you have to mention that? Do I have to vote on that?
To do what?
Increased pay?
We didn't. No. No, that was just, road signs. Yes, so the way PennDOT works is, confusing. Sometimes they call me to put road signs up and stop signs, and sometimes they're responsible for speed limit signs. I don't even try to,
You just have to find.
I'll just call.
They have to be Pennsylvania approved.
Yeah, yeah. Now, once we get them DOT approved, I'll simply just call one of the supervisors and say, hey, I wanna put them here, and we'll do all the work, and it'll simply be that. Other than that, not,
We're probably gonna have to vote on the cost of it too.
oh yeah, to spend the money, yeah, so I'll get all the information for that, it's simple. Not this week coming, but the following week, the road crew will start cutting shoulders around the township. And that could possibly mean your front yard if it's a drainage issue, and there will be road closures. Snyder Road will be one of them, Schaefer's Church could be a possible, just so everybody knows. Other than that, that's what I have.
Okay. Thank you. Andy?
Yeah, Andy?
Everybody can see Andy's out of town. He'll be here Tuesday. But he's presented the solar ordinance, obviously, for all your consideration. I can take back any comments. I've jotted down a lot of the comments that I've already heard that I'll take back to him. For him to obviously consider and do what he needs to do on his end.
Okay, that's pretty much those.
Yeah.
Those were my motions.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, you have,
Nice and easy.
you've been making notes, I see that, so we're good with that. Motion, oh, we got time?
At the reorganizational meeting, there was a reference of hiring a new employee, like, as part of the goals that we get things done. But there was a reference of, that we already had a couple employees, and there was a reference of, to the pay equaling out. I don't know what the time frame was, but when the reference to hiring someone, there was a reference to current employment, and like when guys would be on the same level or something. There was something, so just, if you guys voted on.
That's part of the handbook being changed.
Yeah.
But that you guys voted on, yeah, I'm just bringing that up, because I remember that what happened in that discussion, it seemed like it was, yes, we're hiring somebody, and when we do that, well, that's what I remember.
Right. And that was part of the whole handbook thing, because that's what spells all that out. That was my whole point for doing that, because it's sat idle for a very long time.
Okay, motion to pay the bills?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor, consent to saying